Hi guys, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you joining me today. Today I want to share with you my Hoya collection. I have them all sitting in front of me and I really love these plants. I don't have very many varieties. I have a total of 9 total plants and I think 2 of them are duplicates. So I won't keep you very long. I hope you keep watching. So I think it's appropriate for me to start off with the very first Hoya that I purchased. When I purchased this Hoya, I actually thought it was a pothos, which if you know my channel, it's my favorite plant. And I thought that this Hoya Crimson Princess was a pothos when I purchased her. I literally saw her across a crowded room. I purchased this one in Home Depot. And I had a goal of collecting all of the different varieties, especially the really common ones, the different varieties of pothos. And I do not have an Enjoy. I've never come across an Enjoy in store. I know at some point I will come across an Enjoy, but every time I see something that I think it's an Enjoy, it's either a Pearls and Jade, and then this time it turned out to be this Crimson Queen. And I'm not disappointed at all. She's absolutely gorgeous. I have cut her, shared her. I've had her for almost a year and a half now. And so she has grown so much. She lives in a west-facing window. She is directly in the window. She has never bloomed. I think this would be considered a mature plant, but she has actually never bloomed. And because I have Hoya that have never bloomed, I don't really know what a peduncle is. Well, I know what it is, but I don't know what they look like per se. And so with this video, I was hoping, if you know Hoya, if you could just look at my plant and tell me if these are peduncles or if they are just starting to branch off to something else. I will show you some things that I think may be peduncles. But as of right now, this plant has never bloomed. And I don't think I'm really sad that it's never bloomed. I still love my plant. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love this plant so much. I love the texture. I love the fullness. I love that it doesn't flatten out. Like even when I water it, it doesn't flatten out. And so I really do love this plant. So I am not in any way disappointed. I'm just going to step back. I'm going to step forward so that you can see how beautiful she is. And then I'll step back so that you can see her beauty from a distance. I love it when they do this at the ends. You see how this is just filled with so many leaves? I love that so much. I see something else that I think is a peduncle under here, but I really don't know. But according to what I think a peduncle is, there are tons of them on here. Okay. So now I'm just going to step back a little bit so that you can see how beautiful she is. Look at that. Do you see that? Oh, she is so beautiful. I can literally stare at her all day. I do have her hanging in a window. And I did that because it seems as if she just does a little bit better when she's hanging. But for me personally, I would prefer her sitting on a table simply because I think I get to look down at her and just see how beautiful she is. But in a window, she's kind of up and not, I mean, it's good for her though, but I just love to enjoy her just sitting down on a table. So every once in a while, I just take her down and I stare at her. This is an absolutely gorgeous plant. So this is Hoya number 1. This is Hoya number 2, my Hoya Wyetii. And she's really long, very beautiful. And this one has not bloomed either. I do think this would be considered a mature plant as well, but she has not bloomed. She has nice long leaves. Some of them are just so long and beautiful. But she hasn't bloomed. But here she is. I love this plant. When I saw this plant, I believe it's been, I have it written down in a book. I should have looked it up before I came on, but she has been with me for about 10 months now. She's so pretty. Now, when I purchased this one, they were going through and watering the plants in the Lowe's that I purchased her from, and when they watered her, this chunk right here fell out of the pot, and so they just sat it on top. And so when I came home, I didn't put her back in the pot because obviously she doesn't have a problem with fullness. So I just put her into another pot, and I said I would gift her to someone, but I never did. It just kind of sits in a window, and I never gifted her to anyone. But yeah, she will be a gift for somebody. I think that'll make somebody happy. But this is a beautiful, beautiful plant. And I just watered her, all of these Hoya with the exception of one, I just watered them 4 days ago. So they're beautiful. They're at their prime right now. What's the matter? You see Mr. Fred, he doesn't have a snack for you now. My neighbor gives him snacks when he sees him, so he's barking for him. Okay, so this is my Hoya Wyetii. Gorgeous. Next, I have what used to be a variegated plant. This is my Hoya Exotica Tricolor, and when I purchased her, she had beautiful coloring. I thought she was getting enough light, but apparently she is not. She is in a west-facing window without a curtain or anything. I thought that would be enough for her, but obviously it's not. And so this summer I'm going to work on getting her back some of the color that she had in the beginning. And hopefully I have a picture of her when she had lots and lots of beautiful color so that I can show her to you what she looked like in the past. But this is my tricolor. Oh, she's so pretty. I was watching Plant Therapy and she shared her Hoya tricolor, and wow, is it gorgeous. She has a video with just so many beautiful easy care plants, and this was one of the plants that she shared. And I will say, with all of the Hoya that I have, they are all easy care. They are all very reminiscent of the pothos, and the thing I love about them as far as them being so very easy to care for, and this one is no exception. She's very healthy, but she's just doesn't have her variegation anymore, but I do still love her. Next, I will show you this little teeny tiny carnosa, and this was actually a plant that I cut off from my Crimson Princess. She had an entire reverted stem, and because I didn't have a plain green carnosa, I just trimmed her right off and popped her into this leca, and I pretty much figured that if she stays all green, I will have that variety, because I know that there is an all green carnosa. I've never seen one in store, but I know that there is one that exists, and so hopefully she will stay nice and green. I do have her right in the window though, so I'm not really sure if that will happen. But she is very pretty. I think her leaves look so pretty. I just love it. I like the fact that the leaves are so big and round on these. Okay, next. This is my Hoya pubicalix. I've shared this one with you before. I had her on a trellis that I made from something I purchased in the Dollar Tree, but I actually took her down only because, from what I'm understanding is, oh, this is dry. From what I'm understanding, if you have a Hoya and you trellis it and the end is pointing down, the ends do not necessarily produce as much as it will get really bushy down here. And I think that is something that's definitely true for this plant, which I'm perfectly fine with this being bushy wherever it wants to be bushy. I just love this plant. I have lots of coloring on it. It is not a splash, it's just a pubicalix, but it has lots and lots of color, and it is in the same window that the Exotica is in. So I would think that it would be enough light to keep the Exotica happy and with color, but I guess not. This one must be a little bit more stable. And look how beautiful she is. This leaf right here is just gorgeous. That's just gorgeous. I love this plant. I love my larger Hoya, but I would not be sad at all if this just stayed this size. It's just so pretty. I love this. Okay, next I have, this is my, let's see, how will I describe her? This is my baby that I didn't think I would have right now. This plant, I put her outside last spring and she was attacked, and I do mean attacked, by bugs. I'm trying to remember the name of the aphids. I went outside one morning. I check all of my plants. I do my rounds every single morning. And I went outside. She was on my side porch on the north side of my home. And she just had all of these little yellow things on it that almost looked like little flowers, but I didn't touch it. What I did was I took a picture of it, and then I went online to find out why my plant looks like that, because it was an overnight thing. Day before it wasn't like that. Day after it was loaded. And so when I found out what it was, I said, no, they're eating up my baby. And so what I did was I went over and I completely sprayed her down, hosed her down. I took her out of the soil, hosed the entire thing down in the middle of my yard, and then I sprayed her down with, you know, all of the sprays that you need to get rid of any kind of pest on the plants. And she stayed outside from late April until September. She never made it back in. And when she came back in, she was still in a plastic bag, because I didn't know. I was just so nervous that she was going to have something on her. But I mean, it just creeped me out when I saw all of those aphids on her. And so I just left her outside. And then when she came back in, it took a really long time for me to take her out of being separated from the rest of my plants. And I'm sure she understood. We have to keep everyone safe. So she really, really went through it. And I didn't cut off the leaves that were damaged. A lot of the leaves still have some of the damage, but I did propagate her. I took off a lot of cuttings from her right before I put her outside. And so I ended up just putting them right back into the container. And so she's still just as full. And she was actually not this big when I purchased her. So she has really been through it, and she worked through, and these things are just so resilient. I mean, she was outside. It was cold sometimes. It was like really cold, and she still survived it all. So I was just so happy about that, because I really love this. And I hope I said that she's a snowcap. This is a snowcap Hoya. And she has a stem that is not, I shouldn't take this off because I don't know. And it is soft, so why would I take it off? Oh boy. Anyway, this is a snowcap Hoya. This is so beautiful. I love the way she dangles, and I just can't wait for her to get a little bit longer. Now, this is one of the propagations that I took from her, but this one right here, it never made it back into the pot because the pot was just entirely too full, and so she didn't make it back into her. So these two right here are plants that I will be gifting. Okay, I've talked about you. I've talked about you. Oh, I'll talk about this fun one. This is my Hoya carrii, and yes, these are the Hoya hearts that they sell every February. And when I purchased these, I did know that the hearts that they have in the individual containers do not necessarily grow as much as you can keep them alive. And so what I did was I bought 4 of them. I bought 5 of them. One of them actually died, but these 3 are still here. And then I gifted another one to a friend who was sad. She was having some tough times that she was going through. And so I gifted her a little heart, and she really loved it. So I was happy that I gifted it to her. But this one right here is, I know that these right here, the chances of these growing out, it's not great, but I just thought if they can stay alive, I'll just purchase little ones just to pop into the pot. And I think this year, when I see them being sold, I will purchase some more. When I purchased these, they were actually on major clearance. They were 38 cents each heart, with a little container that it came in that had hearts all over it. And I love hearts, love them so much. And so I just purchased them and I just popped them all into one pot. And I thought this was just so cute. I love this. And it has a very extensive root system. So maybe someday it will do a little something. I know I was watching Jenny Jen, the plant friend, and she had one of these that actually decided it was going to sprout out a pup after a couple of years. So maybe she'll be one that has at least one of them that does that. And if not, I'm completely content with the little container of hearts. Okay, next I have my Curtisii. This is my beautiful Curtisii, a string plant, and she is so beautiful. She is very full. She was a challenge for me when I got her because she does not require the same care that the rest of my Hoya receive. This one right here, all of these Hoya, if I'm not mistaken, Hoya in general prefer to have more moisture, but this one right here, it's almost like a necessity. It has to have moisture. So when I had her before, I was just treating her the way I was treating the rest of my Hoya, and she was right in a south-facing window. She was getting tons of light, but I was not giving her enough water when she needed it. And then she does, I think a humidifier would definitely be good for this one, but I don't necessarily think that you have to have a humidifier, because I just got a humidifier and I don't run it very often because it wets everything. But this right here has been doing well. I'll just go through and mist it with a bottle of water every once in a while, and I simply made my watering schedule, the time in between, a little bit shorter, and that has been helping it. So this is the only Hoya that I have. I mentioned how the rest of them have been watered, but this is the only Hoya that I have that is not on the same schedule as the rest of my Hoya. And so this one right here, it needs to be watered. Maybe within the next couple of days, I'll need to water this one right here. But it looks like maybe she needs to be watered now. She has a lot of little dry spots on her, but I don't want her to get mushy in the roots. But she's nice and full at the top, and I'm really, really happy about this. I have shared her many times. She is difficult to propagate, I will tell you that. But I have shared her many, many times. I just cut off a sleeve and I'll share them with people on Facebook if they have a request for the Hoya Curtisii. Or sometimes what I do is I will do a plant exchange. Because there's some plants I just like to be able to get them and to work with them from the time that they're very small. And so I will just ask if anyone wants to exchange clippings, and this is always something that gets a lot of attention, where people want to have a clipping of this plant. And so I'm always happy to share it. And I think that because I've shared it so many times, it has definitely given me a lot of new growth, because a shared plant is a happy plant. So next I have my Bilbata Hoya. This is a Hoya that, again, this one has not bloomed for me. It has not bloomed at all. And it has, let's see if it has anything that I would think is a peduncle. I don't think so. But how about this? I'll put it up close and you tell me if you see anything that looks like it could be a peduncle. I know I watched videos where many people say that their Bilbata tends to bloom a lot, but mine has never bloomed. But I think this would be considered a mature plant as well. It has nice long trails. I've had her for a little over a year now, and maybe it's my watering schedule. That's the only thing I can think, because I do let her dry out really well. So that's the only thing I can think, is that it just doesn't dry out, and it dries out too much. Now this right here is something that I think, where is it? This is something that I think may be a peduncle. I'm not really sure, but if you could tell me whether or not that's a peduncle, I'd appreciate it. I love this plant. Oh, I just love her. I would love to put her in one of those face planters, but my kids get kind of creeped out with those. So anyway, I just love my hanging baskets. I just do. And these leaves make a great sound when you shake them. Finally, I have my Crimson Queen, and this plant was a wish list plant for me. I've never found this plant right here in a big box store. I've seen the Crimson Princess so many times, but the Crimson Queen near me, I've never ever seen it. So I went to one of the local nurseries and they had them there one day, and so I purchased it. And it was just a couple of leaves inside the pot at the time, but now she is nice and long and I love her. I would not mind it if she were to just stay this length, because I just love having a pot of a plant that I can just look at and just you know, really enjoy it. Now I'm thinking this right here may be a peduncle right there in the middle. I think that's a peduncle. I don't know that it's going to do anything if it is, but yes, I think that may be a peduncle. You see what I'm looking at there? Let me move. I would love to see a bloom on this. I love flowers altogether, so if I got a bloom on a green plant, I would really be more than happy. Look how pretty that is. I even like the fact that she has so much green on her. I'm okay with the ones that have more white as well. Like this one right here, that is really pretty, but I love the green. And then this leaf right here, that's gorgeous. Love it. I just love them all. So there you have it. Those are all of my Hoya plants. I love them. Again, my Hoya collection looks a lot like my pothos collection because I love the look of the pothos. I love the look of just how these plants right here hang from their baskets. So these Hoya pretty much give me the same vibe that I get from the pothos that I love so much. I appreciate you so much for spending your time with me today and listening to me ramble on about my Hoya collection. I do love them, and I would love to know if you collect Hoyas or if you just have Hoyas, and if you have a favorite in your collection. I would really like to know which one you have, or if you have any of the ones that I have. Thank you for joining me. I will talk to you again in another video. Have an awesome day.